Laura, what have you been up to?
Well, I can actually work from home, so it's not too, not too much of a change for me. But I do have a young son off school at the moment, and my days have been filled with Minecraft.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, I'd heard of it before all of this, but now it's like the screen time limit has been slightly adjusted in step with my sanity.
I do find now, actually, with my kids being off as well, particularly when they've had Easter holidays,
Mm.
I get the little screen time notification at about 9 a.m. to say, I need more time on Netflix because I've exhausted my 2 hours already. And you go,
Oh,
oh, yeah, all day, it's
whatever.
fine. Yeah, whatever.
Knock yourself out. But yeah, I think as someone who has comes from a technical background, and people who might be listening who are from a technical background, it's so interesting how it's like a visual coding. I mean, we just using the iPad version, not the Java version, but it's quite interesting, the concepts of like the conditions and logic that you have there, and it's great for teaching kids. I just thought it was like a game. I just thought it was any other game, but it's actually much more than that, which is quite interesting.
There,
Yeah,
there's,
just
there's some amazing things you can do. I think, is it Redstone is like the stuff that you can
yes,
sort of use to almost kind of build circuits and
yeah. So I don't have it near me, but I've got a book called the Redstone Book. It's
oh,
quickly descended into like owning all the literature. And it's amazing. It's like, yeah, you can do like repeaters and conditions and um yeah, just like normal electrical circuits. It's really clever, making parts of walls move and pigs bounce in the air, and it's just like it's really good light-hearted fun, but also there's like an educational element which is great. So that's why you're like, you can have more time because this
yeah,
is
educate.
school.
Yeah.
So you lost me a bit. So maybe some of our viewers might not know what redstone means. Is that
So
like a type of material that you build
yeah,
with or something?
so
Okay.
everything in Minecraft is a block.
Okay.
One object has a certain type, and there's lots of different things like ores and different types of materials. So you've got like coal and you've got mud. I think it's earth maybe.
Okay. Right.
I'm not a pro like my 6-year-old. Diamond, and one of them is called redstone, and it's got a special property. It's like a electrical, and it's just really clever, really inventive, and you can make all sorts of things. You can run it all over the place. You can like grind it down, make it into a dust, and then make a circuit with it, like if you
Oh, wow.
trail it around. So
Okay.
it's very fascinating.
My one experience with Minecraft, I think was on Nintendo Switch or something, and I just found the UI quite confusing.
It's like going back in time, isn't it? All the pixelation.
But as someone who was at that time poor, it was quite an investment, and it did make me think about when you're younger and you've got all this time, the amount of sort of energy you can put into learning something. I mean, like there's some games I remember from like PlayStation era that just the amount of hours I put
just
in
consume you. Yeah.
I just
And
think the concept of doing that now is it's just so foreign, isn't it?
It is like the time. Is it time spent well? And that's, I suppose, like PlayStation games, maybe not, but with Minecraft it's different because it does feel like learning, and it's nostalgic for me because it feels like you're taken back to when you were doing basic on your Spectrum. And it's just fascinating like how it's the same sort of concepts, especially if you do the proper version. But he's a bit young for that. But it's like the early concepts and getting used to those have been quite interesting, that I think a lot of people with technical backgrounds would appreciate.
Because I've been thinking a lot about how to try and get my kids more involved in programming. They kind of say they want to do programming, but actually sitting down and writing code is a bit more difficult, and it's not as simple. I've said this before, I think, but in our day, you would turn on your Spectrum and there it was, and it was blinking, and you'd have to learn how to
type it out,
to do anything. Whereas today, like, you can't just turn on. People say, "Oh, Raspberry Pi," but you turn on Raspberry Pi, it's just Linux. So you still need to know a whole load of stuff before you get into it. So finding the right step for kids to be able to do that and be able to experiment and expand and improve themselves seems to be a little bit, I don't know whether it's maybe it's just my kids, but it seems hard to get them going. So things like Minecraft that kind of at least introduce those concepts to them. We've been doing a bit of Code Combat as well, which is an online site where it's kind of, you have challenges. You have a hero, and he has to go and open doors and open chests and kill orcs and those kind of things. But it's all programmed, right? So it's like the old turtle, move.
Like Logo.
Logo.
That's it.
We go up for, attack that gremlin, all that kind of stuff. And that seems quite cool. But still, it seems difficult to get my kids to actually grasp onto it and something they actually want to do and, keep wanting to do. But that's probably just them.
I think Minecraft has that element of just the right balance of fun and learning and curiosity, because it's got things like zombies in and, like I said, bouncing pigs. So it's kind of they're learning as they're doing something really ridiculous at the same time, which, even adults want to do. But yeah, and there's another thing that we've got, if we're talking about gadgets, is we bought a small computer called a Kano. Don't know if you've heard of it, but it's basically like a tricked out Raspberry Pi, is what I understand.
Okay.
But that had Minecraft on.
Lowered suspension and
yeah, massive speaker on the side. But yeah, it's like a kid's computer that you can hook up to a monitor, but it comes with all the parts. They have to build it when they get it out of the box, and it's all like bright colours. It's like bright orange and yellow, and it's really fantastic. So that might be something that sort of sparks the curiosity. Why can't I say that word? Curiosity, because it's all like bright coloured and it's really fun. It's like their own thing, but it's got a tiny little keyboard like this, and yeah, it's really great. Just another gadget for anyone who's out there with kids at home at the moment.
It just runs like Linux, like a Raspberry Pi, right? So
yeah, it's quite an interesting little gadget.
Sounds cool. I might get one for myself.
For yourself, yeah, for the kids.